examples of the create a law assignment are as follows. Create your law writing assignment. So again, how does this actually look in real time? And then I will put up something that has the process for how a bill becomes the law. I didn't really go through every single step. But one of your jobs is to kind of outline, if it was in Congress, what steps would it take to have to pass Congress, and then what it might end up looking like, what committees it might end up in. And I will put a list of the list of committees you can easily find at House and Senate.gov, but I'll put them up. All right, who do I want to pick on from last year? Let's go with, I think Sydney's is pretty good. Sidewalks for all. I like Sydney's, yeah. So sidewalks for all. Basically, it passed a law in Michigan that would have more this is actually from 2 years ago. I didn't have government last year. It's kind of sad. Passed a law in Michigan that would have more sidewalks in neighborhood cul-de-sacs. Sidewalks for all. Create a safer and better traffic. Allow for runners, walkers, and kids to use sidewalks. She has a purpose. She has a purpose. The title of her bill is Sidewalks for All. She plans to enforce the law by the state of Michigan. First responders, including police force and firefighters. A $50 fine. It would be more of a state law because half of Michigan doesn't have sidewalks. And then she ends up looking at the steps that what it would take to pass the bill. Okay, and then she ends up. So this is a good example. Another example down here is the title of the bill is the Washington Hayes Amendment, limiting the president to 1 6-year term. This is a big, broad one, and actually, this has been talked about extensively. And limiting the president to 1 6-year term, as opposed to 2 4-year terms, and why that's necessary because of the creation of presidential term limits. The 22nd Amendment. The president spends the majority of his last 2 years campaigning for re-election, which she goes on to justify as bad. It's a federal law. Actually, she's talking about how it would have to pass Congress. Because this one would actually have to be a constitutional amendment. So this would should have other steps to it as well. Let's see, what did Connor say? Is Connor's any good? High school should be allowed to compete in games with high schools from other states. Okay, and he uses some justification there. So you see, there's justification for some of this. The purpose of the law is to give athletic kids the talent where they came from. So you see how they lay it out: A, B, C, D, and E, just like that. Put it in double space, but it's not all just one paragraph. It's A, B, C, D, and E that they lay it out in that sense. Okay, they lay it out in that sense. They lay it out in that sense. This is a pro-life bill. The title is the pro-life bill. I'm not going to get into it. The CL pro-life bill, legal to abort babies in the womb. Again, you don't have to do anything that controversial. It could be something like sidewalks. It could be something like sports. What did Caleb do? Economy for U.S. An economy for U.S. by U.S. Regulation for outsourcing production offshore. These guys thought nationally. You don't even have to go that far. It could be something local. It could be something local and something to do with COVID. It doesn't have to be national. So again, it could be something local as well. But you just have to meet the criteria for establishing what's the rationale, what's the penalty, who's going to enforce the law. It doesn't have to be perfect in that sense, but you need to kind of think your way through it. Okay, so those were some examples. I'm not posting the examples because if I do, then you kind of eliminate those, and I don't want to eliminate those for you. So again, this is an assessment grade, and actually added something to the assessment grade that has a provision for spelling, grammar, does not distract from the narrative and are handled with care, present in MLA format, double spaced, and so on. So I just wanted to give you some examples of what that looks like. All right.